And he had them shake hands. Shake hands! All this talk that fans are turning on Cody Rhodes, nobody turned on Cody Rhodes. In fact, if you want the truth, BC will tell you exactly why. The most honest of reasons as to why fans no longer look at Cody Rhodes the way they once did. And it starts with this. I mean, he's supposed to be your main heel, one of your main heels. Why would you do that to him? What's up, guys? Salute. Welcome to Amped Up with BC for Tuesday, October 15, 2024. In today's show, we will be going over some of Monday Night Raw from last night. Now, if you guys don't know, this was a taped show from last week. So yesterday, we already put up the results / spoilers edition of Monday Night Raw for 10/14/24. So check that out if you guys want my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. We did it before the show even went on the air because on paper, this show looked bad. This show looked really ugly, and I said several times in that upload yesterday, I said, hopefully, this is one of those shows that just looks really ugly on paper, but it's actually going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, man. It might have even been worse having to watch 2 hours of that in our prime time than actually reading about it. So, I don't know, but we're going to talk a little bit about it, how it actually was produced from paper to show, and some of the things that were backstage that weren't on the spoilers, like Jimmy and Jay crossing each other's paths, Jimmy reaching out to Jay to rejoin them, and Jay telling him where he can stick it, him and Roman, where the sun don't shine. So we'll talk some Monday Night Raw and Cody and Gunther. I think that's going to be more of the bulk of the show, actually, because it's going to catapult into two separate topics I want to discuss. Cody Rhodes' booking, Gunther's booking, and the random match that both are having at Crown Jewel in just a couple of weeks. Now, we all thought, like, Cody and Gunther, that's going to be a really good match, right? If done correctly, which it has to be. The right time, the right scenario. Let's just fast track it. Let's hot shot book it for a couple of weeks and put some random weird ass gimmick title on the line, the Crown Jewel title. And let's just get rid of Cody and Gunther now, that matchup. It's weird, man. And if you guys caught Raw last night or heard about it, it may have just become even more dumbfounding, more befuddling, because you're not going to believe what they actually did last night. So we should not be shocked, right? This is Hunter Hearst Helmsley's mutual respect era. We went from the Attitude Era to mutual respect. We'll talk about it. We ain't doing nothing until I give two big shout-outs, first and foremost, in this cold open teaser. That is going to be to my New York Yankees. How about them Yankees, brah? Sport that. If you got those interlocking NYs, sport that today proudly for sure. Big Game 1 of the ALCS series. Big Game 1 victory last night. 5-2. My boy Stanton with a massive home run. You had Juan Soto with his home run. Carlos Rodon, 6 straight up innings of badass pitching, and Weaver comes in to get the last 5 outs. Little shaky there at the top of the 8th. But Luke Weaver came in, our new closer, and that was a complete game for the New York Yankees. And that's not even, I would say that's about 65% of what we're capable of. So Game 2 is tonight. I look for my Yankees to do even better. Home field advantage means you have to take advantage of home field. This is Game 2 in New York. You cannot go to Cleveland, split 1-1. Don't come here with that garbage. And a big shout out to channel subscriber and even more so channel member, Rob Reverne. And yesterday's spoilers edition of Monday Night Raw, the results review, Rob Reverne chucking a couple coffees, a couple 2-3 coffees at the channel, and the super thanks option down below. Super thanks, super chat, never needed, always appreciated. But Rob, thank you, dude. That electrified, that amplified, that results Spoilers upload even more than it already was. So I appreciate you big time. Always good seeing you up in here, man. And I appreciate the coffees. Thank you, dude. To Rob, salute. And to my Yankees, salute. A double salute. All right. Now that we got that respect and appreciation out there, let's jump into today's upload. Yesterday's show, right? We went over it on paper anyway, the spoilers. So there's not much to talk about in that sense because it pretty much went exactly as BC told you it was going to go. There was no BS in that results spoilers upload from yesterday. Everything that happened, man, from Legend and Jackson with the minor distraction and damage control taking just a nonsensical loss. And I say that not because they lost to two powerhouses like Jade and Bianca, but because they shouldn't be in that position. And you made them faces just to get into that position, right? You turned them face when they were heels. They got out-heeled by Sonya's group. They turned faces just to go into a face matchup with Jade and Bianca and then get beat by the faces. So they're getting beat by fellow heels when they're heels. They're getting beat by fellow faces when they're faces. What are damage control? And if you don't give them an upfront identity or characteristics and values and you don't attach anything that fans can gravitate toward them, if you don't attach anything for fans to do such, nobody's going to care about them. They're just going to ask, what is damage control? Some fans, casual, will say, hey, is damage control even in WWE still? Their booking is just so sad. You know, when Io was the champion, the one thing we could say was, hey, at least she's having really good matches. I mean, you're seeing the best in-ring, anyway, of Io. Of course, the booking is off, but that's all of damage control. But at least Io, man, she's the champion and she's having good matchups. But it's clear, like, if they take a title away from you, I mean, you literally have nothing in this company. They don't know what to do with you. And Kairi, they brought Kairi back for what? If they didn't have a purpose and a plan, if they don't really believe that she can be anything special on the roster, then why bring her back? You know, Io, Kairi, Asuka, Bayley, you know how I feel about them. These are some of the best female wrestlers on the planet, but you put them together, you think they're going to be a badass faction, and they're just some of the worst booked individuals and collectively that you could possibly come across. The only thing worse, what am I saying? Everybody's just badly booked. Karrion Kross's stable, Bobby Lashley and the Profits. You don't even know where Lashley's gone. He's going to AEW. Profits had to quietly turn back to faces with red cups falling on their dome pieces. Who is booked good? The bootleg bloodline, horrendous, not even close to the original bloodline. Otis and the new Alpha Academy. You saw what happened on Monday night last night. You heard it in the spoilers yesterday, right? Otis and Tozawa just lost to War Raiders. But it's okay because now we get to say War Raiders again. That made everybody satisfied. As long as we can yell war, 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 we're okay with Tozawa and Otis being right back to where they were before this whole Chad Gable implosion happened. I don't know anybody that's truly being booked to the moon right now, and that's no pun intended to Cameron Grimes. We know how he was booked. He wasn't to the moon, he was booked to catering, and then Hunter gave him his walking papers. And for those wondering, I did catch Monday Night Raw last night, for the most part anyway. Full transparency, on the biggest screen was my Yankees. On the medium screen, I did switch that over to the Jets and the Bills. I had to see what Aaron Rodgers was going to do in that football game. But on the little screen, the smallest screen anyway, was Monday Night Raw. Because we're hoping, right? All right, paper, it sounds absolute like utter trash. But maybe they got some special things planned, man. Maybe they're going to have everybody talking when the show is done. Some things happen backstage or in their new headquarters, right? Maybe they recorded something that's top-notch and it's going to steal the headlines. No. All that happened that wasn't on the spoilers was Jimmy and Jay cross paths. Jimmy extended the olive branch. Jay said shove it up his, him and Roman, both. Take it, shine it up, and stick, That was it. some other backstage segments. Maybe the LWO did something, right? They accidentally stumbled upon catering and took all of the triple layered moose cake on everybody. Who knows? Who cares? That's the show that we read in the spoilers and went, what is that? That cannot be what actually happened, right? I think a part of me was actually watching too, just to confirm what was confirmed to me. I had it double validated, right? Those spoilers were double validated. That's why I made that upload. But there was still a part of me that was going, there's no way that could actually be what happened, right? Because when you're taped, you got to know the spoilers are coming out. You want to put one of your best shows forward or better than the norm because you want people to go, okay, I know what's going to happen, but now I got to watch. Like back in the day, McMahon knowing that he would have his shows taped, he would do something wild like put the championship on Mick Foley, right? So WCW was giving those results and people were like, okay, I know what's going to happen, but I have to now watch that happen. That's actually pretty badass. That's wild. Mick Foley is winning the world title, and it worked against WCW. And from that point on, man, ratings started shifting over to WWF Monday Night Raw. Instead, I mean, this company knows they're being taped, so they're like, why even try? So you had Damage Control losing this matchup, and there's just no reason for them to be in it. And then you had Tozawa and Otis just losing this matchup against the War Raiders when you could have just had two dudes from the local bingo hall, right? Paulie Walnuts, Luigi Lugnuts. Send them over, have them get whomped in 2 minutes. Make War Raiders, put them on the map, right? Those are the superstars, these are the jobbers, and this is why. And you showcase War Raiders and the annihilation of Lugnuts and Walnuts. But instead, no, you take Tozawa and Otis for no reason. They don't have Gable anymore. You really want to give them the best possible booking, right? Give them a chance to shine on this roster. No, it's the same old Tozawa and Otis, just without Chad Gable or a storyline. I say it all the time like a broken record, man. When Gable and Otis, they were having that little mix-up, and we thought, man, the moment that Otis turns on Gable, it's going to be magical. And he just gives him that little shove. The crowd didn't even know what to think because they were like, is that it? And they never really went back to it. They had some six-man tags or something, but nothing. They took Gable and his American-made faction, and they stuck him right with the Wyatt Six, who, by the way, you know, fans are asking, are they even still with the company? You can go on and on. Weird matches like Braun Breaker beating Kofi Kingston. Miz defeating R-Truth. Like, is this really... Who's choosing that over Jets and Bills and how close it was going into the final minutes of the fourth quarter, man? It was like a 3-point differential, something like that. Who's watching that over Yankees in the ALCS? Gotta watch Miz and Truth. They were tag champions together 2 months ago, basically. Come on, man. Come on. This was not it. This was such in their big story arc last night was Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, your heel on SmackDown, and your face on Raw. Let's put them in a tag team because that's going to make sense. And then they put them, so that was the first segment, and then at the end of the night, they threw them in the main event against Liv and Raquel. And you wonder, when the show ended, Nia Jax got in the ring, annihilated Liv. Tiffany finally was about to cash in. Dominic Mysterio drags Liv out of the ring. The heels walk up the aisleway. The crowd doesn't know what to think, right? Nobody's really being cheered because what is supposed to be the faces in the ring while the heels run away ended up being Nia and Tiffany, the two heels from SmackDown, guys. They were talking trash from the ring to the heels going up the aisleway, which was Dominic and Liv Morgan and Raquel. So the heels were yelling at the heels and vice versa, and the crowd was like, do we cheer for? What's happening? That's Hunter Hearst Helmsley booking. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody's nitpicking. Nobody's trying to just drag Hunter's booking just to drag it. We're saying it doesn't make sense and it's not fun for the crowd. Rhea and Tiffany in a tag team is mind-bogglingly stupid. Ending your show with Nia and Tiffany acting like the faces while Liv is the heel. Is that the game they're going to play for the next 2 weeks? Nia's more the face, Liv is the heel? It was that bad on paper, even worse when it played out on air. And then you went to Cody Rhodes and Gunther. So Cody Rhodes and Gunther, you guys ready for this one? So they have this little exchange, a decent exchange. I mean, it's nothing that you haven't really heard from Randy Orton and Gunther. So I think this is just what we're going to do. Every time Gunther's in a match with somebody, you'll have the face-to-face, you'll throw some low-hanging fruit, it'll be tense. Okay, I mean, eventually they're going to have to change it up, but I was watching the same thing I saw with like Randy and Gunther. And just like Gunther and Randy after their match in Berlin, when they shook hands, that's right, your top heel, Gunther, one of your top faces, Randy, shaking hands. That made a whole lot of sense, said nobody ever. But that's Hunter Hearst Helmsley's 2024 booking. It's not the Hunter Hearst Helmsley era, it's the mutual respect era. And that's what Gunther did here. He just shook Cody's hand. And Cody shakes everybody's hand, right? He's running for mayor at this point, right? If it was up to him, he'd boot Harris, he'd boot Trump, and he would run for president maybe, just so he can shake hands. He probably doesn't even want the position. He just wants to shake some hands. Because that's all he does, man. Yeah, you see him with Kevin Owens going into their match, right? He just wants to have matches with his friends so he can shake their hands and hug them afterwards. And that's exactly what happened after Owens and Cody, by the way. And you have the Roman Reigns mutual respect. I don't think they actually shook hands, thankfully, but they gave the little nod, right? Roman and Cody are on the same page. They can coexist. And now Cody's taking on Gunther, and they shook hands. Cody extends his hand, and Gunther's like, all right. And they shook hands. And everybody's trying to ignore that, right? Oh, but they had a tense exchange. It was a tense exchange, BC. I don't care how tense it was. It was respect. They shook hands. I don't even know what Gunther said afterwards. He tried to sound like pretty bad. He's tried to give it like a badass. He was like, I have luck. I beat you. I beat you. You luck. You need luck. Wait, who needs luck? I'm leaving. I don't know what Gunther said off the microphone when they were shaking hands, but it was so bad. And he just leaves, and Cody's like, huh, is that it? Is that the segment? The crowd didn't know. Like, is that really it? That's all we're doing is a handshake? After all of that, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, WWE, they had them shake hands. They shook hands. How many wrestlers does Gunther have to shake hands with, man? We get it. He's the most polite wrestler on the planet. He's the nicest. That's his character, I guess. That's what Hunter wants to book him as. He's an athletic contest beast, right? He's just going to go out there and outcompete you. He'll say some words, he'll talk some trash, but he'll shake your hands before the match, and then he'll shake your hands after the match. He shows that he's better than you. Cool. Then have that that's not charisma. What's the word I want? That conceitedness, that cockiness, have that overflowing into a big matchup. Cody extends his hand, and Gunther doesn't want to shake it because he's so damn cocky and arrogant. Knows that he's better than Cody. And he just smirks, laughs it off. And as he walks by, he hits Cody shoulder to shoulder. And Cody's left there like, all right, that's what I'm dealing with. What does the handshake do? That just tells everybody, all right, there's some tension, but like it ain't that bad. I mean, they shook hands. They're cool. They can coexist. And I guess we'll just watch an athletic contest at Crown Jewel in Saudi. Oh, what do you want to talk about? Your athletic contest with Gunther, because there's no storyline. There's none. Like Owens and Cody just thrown together because they're friends. No storyline. There's more of a storyline now, I guess you could say. But there was none going into Cody and Kevin Owens. There's no storyline here, guys. They realize that they're only a few weeks away from Crown Jewel after their last PLE Bad Blood, and they're like, oh, what do we do? So they're like, what if we just take our champions and put them in there? It was like Randy and Gunther. It was so random. So you have Cody Rhodes and Gunther thrown together on short notice, hot-shotted, So you can't build a proper storyline. Or at least if you do, you're only going to have a few weeks to do it. So Hunter just said, you know what? Let's not even try. Just have him go out there, have him say some words, shake hands. We'll make this more about like who's better, right? Because that's what it is anyway. The Crown Jewel Championship is the best of the best. So we don't really need a story. That's the story. Just like for 2 years, Cody's whole story was just finish the story. It's so damn simple. Why add layers to it? We don't need to. And that's what they did last night. They shook hands. That's no joke. More coffee, BC. Don't mind if I do. Dunkin', extra, extra, double shot, yeah? What I want to talk about is Cody Rhodes and Gunther's booking. Cody Rhodes, right? You hear all of this. Fans are turning on Cody Rhodes. Nobody's turning on Cody Rhodes. In fact, you want the truth, the most honest reason that BC can give you as to why fans no longer look at Cody Rhodes the way they once did. This backlash supposedly at Cody Rhodes. Look at the way the dude is booked. It's poor. This isn't even on Cody Rhodes. And it started 2 years back, 39. You guys know that. Even those that wanted Cody not to win at 39. By now, you know that was the wrong decision. You know that. Right? Everyone screamed struggle in adversity. You never got it, did you? Did you have fun watching Cody versus Brock Lesnar for 3 months for no reason? There was no story. Michael Cole had to ask for 3 straight months. Why is Brock even attacking Cody? Maybe we'll find out. We never did. And you guys know why that is. Because originally, Cody was supposed to win at 39. Brock's whole stipulation his last time he fought Roman was, I can no longer fight Roman for the title if I lose. And he lost. So he was waiting for that title to change hands. Cody finally wins it. Brock attacks Cody. Last minute, Hunter said, you know what? I know you're going on vacation for months, Roman, and you're only going to show up about 6 times the rest of the year, but we're going to keep the title on you. So he made that decision, and Cody was laying next to a rubber chicken instead of hoisting up that title at 39. And then the next night, Cody Rhodes is attacked by Brock Lesnar still. They still decided to go with the same original plan, just without the title. Never made sense. It never had that spark that it could have had from the jump. Because it all would have made sense if Hunter did it properly. So for the next year, you just watch Cody with struggle and adversity, right? And that was Brock Lesnar for 3 months, and then the rest of the year, Judgment Day matches. That's what, so we, who just wanted to get it over with, just give Cody the title at 39 and let it run its course. Let's see what happens, sink or swim, because Roman's going away anyway. And then we'll have something brand new for 40. You can do your Rock and Roman match. It wouldn't have been, the waters would not have been muddied like they were this year if they just did business the proper way at 39. So that's what they decided to do. Cody Rhodes does not win the title. Struggle in adversity with the Judgment Day matches the rest of the year. And then you go into 40. And he finally wins the championship. By then, it's too late. The magic is gone. The magic is absolutely done at that point. There is no cool storyline waiting for him like you had at 39 with Brock Lesnar, right? It's gone. And now Cody Rhodes is sitting there plucking his friends for challengers like Kevin Owens. Or he's shaking hands with Gunther from Monday Night Raw, just like Randy just did. They're just taking the Smackdown dudes, they're bringing them to Raw or vice versa, and they're just trying to find opponents now with just a few weeks of notice, so there's no real proper build. You guys know I'm right, man. This isn't nitpicking. I mean, everything BC is saying is true. Even if you don't like it, right? You're like, oh, whatever, BC. But you are right. But still, man, fuck off. But it's truth. You guys know that, man. It's the weirdest thing. And that's the real reason why fans cannot get behind what Cody's doing. It's not Cody. Or for some fans that just don't like Cody's shtick, don't like Cody, then yeah, it is Cody. But for the majority of the wrestling fans, no, they were behind Cody. I mean, there was fans actually crying because Cody was not going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. They were crying. Trust me, I know. I was all about Rock versus Roman at 40, and there were people crying, no, BC, no, it's got to be Cody in the story. And this is why I said this BS should have been done at 39. because now this is the situation we find ourselves in, where The Rock and Roman is clearly the more marquee matchup, but now we're trying to get the same match we got at 39, Cody and Roman, just so Cody can get the damn title a year after he should have gotten it. So you made fans like BC and so many others wait a whole year to do the same damn garbage you could have done at 39. The only difference is it's even worse this time around because you have no challengers for Cody. At least not properly. Damn, I'm good at this. BC's up there with Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, man. I got the mind for the business, man. But it's simplistic. It's just common sense and logic, right? I'm not even tapping into my spidey senses of pro wrestling. I really am not. I'm really not even tapping into my wealth of wrestling spectrum knowledge. I'm literally just talking common sense and logic, man. This is right in front. Even before they make the decisions and Hunter makes these decisions, it's obvious the right way to go. But he chooses time and time again not to do such. And now your champion Cody Rhodes is in the position that he's in, with more and more fans by the day saying, no thank you, this is not the type of booking I want for Cody. And in doing so and saying such, they walk away. They turn away from Cody and Rhodes. Not cool. And on the flip side, Gunther. Gunther, you want to talk Gunther booking. So Gunther is supposed to be this badass, arrogant, conceited, I'm better than you heel, right? I love it. Love it. And we know the talent that he's got. We know the skill that he possesses. He checks off basically every box. Cool. Why is he turning into this most polite champion ever, as a heel, mind you? Why is he shaking all of the top faces' hands? Randy after their match, Cody before their match. You would never see Sergeant Slaughter when he was a heel Slaughter, Gulf War status, shaking Hogan's hand or Warrior's hand. You would never check out Hunter Hearst Helmsley when he was the cerebral assassin, shaking Austin's hand, or The Rock, if there wasn't like some story behind it anyway. You would not see Big Van Vader shaking the hand of Jake Roberts when Jake was that top face and Vader was that diabolical heel in WWF. You wouldn't see that man, Sid Justice, shaking the hand of Tito Santana when he was a heel. Sid. You wouldn't see it because it doesn't make sense. You're confusing your audience, and when you confuse the audience, they'll just walk away. Like, you're almost making Gunther a sympathetic character. Why? Like when Hunter had Gunther versus Bronson Reed, heel versus heel, and I said how stupid that was. Watch the audience. They didn't know what to do. Sitting on their thumbs because it's heel versus heel. They're like, do we even... Wait, I thought we'd... So Gunther beats Bronson, and then they really let Bronson soak up the reaction afterwards. They zoomed in. They thought that there was going to be a reaction, right? Sympathetic. Fans were going to start cheering him. Oh, man, you almost did it, Bronson. Nobody said a peep. It was crickets in that arena. Nobody cared. Hunter absolutely dropped the ball to the point where now he had to do a complete rehaul, a 360 or 320. Leave a little bit of wiggle room in case you get it wrong again. But he had to completely come back around to try again. And now he made Bronson this absolute destructible beast. Right? Wreck-It Ralph, Bronson Reed. That works much better. Just make him a diabolical heel. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. This isn't you don't got to move mountains. You don't need to create some expecto petroleum magic. You just have to book properly, man. Common sense and logic. It's Bronson. Look at the dude. What is your goal? To make him a superstar, a real beast? Dominate. Wreck-It Ralph. Don't try to make him a baby face by putting him in there with another heel. If that was even the goal when they faced each other. Maybe that was just Hunter going, I don't care about baby faces and heels, just have Gunther and Bronson face each other. Either way, it didn't work. It failed miserably, and the reaction told you that. And if you needed any more proof, look at Bronson today and Bronson when he was in there against Gunther. You can't tell me that's long-term storytelling. That's just two completely different outlooks on a wrestler. One was really bad, one is much better. BC told you that the much better one should have been presented from the jump. BC was right. Time and time again, heel versus heel, face versus face. It doesn't make sense. It confuses the audience, and when you confuse your audience, they walk away. But it's just not fun. Watching Tiffany and Rhea, and you guys know I put Tiffany up on a pedestal. The rest of the community puts Rhea on a pedestal. So you would think them as a tag team, maybe it'll work, BC. No, on paper it doesn't work, and when they were in there last night, it didn't work. Fans didn't know what to think when Nia and Tiffany, heels from Smackdown, were yelling at the heels, Liv and Raquel, from Raw to end the show. That ended a 2-hour Monday Night Raw. Smackdown women heels yelling at Raw women heels. And you're trying to tell me that's the best booking possible, BC? He knows what he's doing. He's cooking. Don't worry. Hunter's got long-term storytelling plans, BC. No, he does not. This is it. This is literally it. It goes by the day. That should never be ending your Monday Night Raw. Tiffany and Rhea have no business being in the same ring together as a tag team. Not even if you're trying to ask the question, can they coexist? The concept shouldn't exist. Oh, and real quick before I wrap this up, the SmackDown rating this week, a 1.65. That is a slight uptick from their high 1.5 some odd, but still down from their debut back on USA, which was a 1.7 some odd. So basically, you're around 1.5, 1.6 is their initial average. So on one hand, you want to say, hey, man, they're hanging with Monday Night Raw that's been on USA for what seems like since the beginning of time. And they're hanging with those numbers. In fact, the 165 tops a lot of Monday Night Raw numbers the last several months, with or without football competition. In fact, it's right up there with this week's Raw, which was no better than like a 1.5, 1.6 tops, correct? So it's right there. On the other hand, on the flip side, you know, it's so wild to think that in one swoop, in one decision, you can lose nearly 3/4 of your audience. When they left Fox, they were just over 2 million. But when Roman is on his game and there is a couple, 2-3 good stories or decent stories going on, they can pull on average 2.2 to 2.3. So to be talking about 1.5, 1.6, that is roughly 750,000 viewers no longer watching, or at least not live on their TV like they were with Fox, because it jumped over to Cable USA. 750,000 viewers no longer being accounted for. And a lot of those, yeah, watching highlights or trying to find another way. But a lot of those fans, guys, the truth is, they're just not watching. It's not accessible. They're not going to work hard to go and find it, right? They don't think it's worth it. It was accessible because it was on broadcast television. Hey, I like WWE. Let's watch. Now it's like, all right, you took it away. I'm not going to go through hoops with flames to try to watch WWE SmackDown. So a lot of those people are not watching, guys. But 750,000 on average, gone. So the number is not horrible for Friday Night SmackDown. They're still, it's, you know, right up there with Monday Night Raw at least. But to think of how many viewers they lost, and that's what I mean. You could say, okay, we got more money thanks to USA because Fox was not giving them any more money. That's why. So maybe we got more money, but is it going to be beneficial in the long run? I mean, have you lost so many viewers that after a little bit of time, you're going to start to feel that, right? 750,000 viewers. You made up money up front, but you're going to lose it at the back end because you lost viewers. Hope that makes sense. It's just wild to think of that, right? Like that many viewers drop off because of broadcast in cable. Wild, man. Absolutely wild. So anyway, guys, we'll see what Raw pulls in against MLB's playoffs, Yankees and the Guardians last night, and then the Jets and the Bills, and then the fact that it was just not a good show, and the fact that it was taped. I don't know. I would be shocked if they pulled a 1-4, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they pulled like a 1-6. You know what I mean? Which is right up there with SmackDown because people are just like left it on in the background or something. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see what they pulled. We'll talk about it in the next Amped upload. That's what I got for you guys, man. I'm going to go get, I got to get a Starbucks. There's a lot of business I have to attend to. This one a little bit longer, actually. But you know what? Man, coffee and pro wrestling, let's rock. So I'm okay with pushing other business back. Until next time, there will be that next time. BC and the unit saying check you. Salute!